The afternoon sun, thick with dust motes, streamed through the high, grimy window of the attic. Nina, her hair tied back with a forgotten scarf, knelt amidst boxes overflowing with forgotten memories. She wasn't looking for anything in particular, just a sense of connection to a past she barely remembered. Her fingers, dusty from sifting through old photo albums and moth-eaten blankets, brushed against a small, leather-bound book tucked beneath a stack of yellowed newspapers. It was a diary. The leather was worn smooth, the edges soft with age. No title, no author, just a sense of quiet waiting. Nina ran her thumb over the cover, a curious warmth spreading through her fingertips. She opened it gently, a faint scent of vanilla and old paper wafting up. The handwriting was elegant, looping, and strikingly familiar. It almost felt like her own. The first entry she read was dated years ago, September 12th. Another gray Tuesday at Sterling and Finch. The new project manager, Mr. Henderson, seems particularly fond of needlessly long meetings. Nina paused. Sterling and Finch was her company. Mr. Henderson was her project manager. A ripple of unease, light as a feather, brushed against her skin. Coincidence, she thought, a curious one. She turned a few more pages, the quiet hum of the attic her only companion. October 3rd. Luna, my mischievous cat, woke me at 3 a.m. demanding tuna. Some things never change. Nina's breath hitched. Luna was her cat's name, and Luna's obsession with tuna was legendary in her apartment. The gentle unease deepened, transforming into a peculiar sense of wonder, almost like looking into a mirror of her own life, reflected back through time. The entries described her quiet routines, the same small coffee shop on the corner, the specific brand of Earl Grey tea she favored, even the way she'd trip on the third step leading up to her apartment building. It was her life, meticulously cataloged by someone else. Or was it? A chill, distinct and sharp, traced its way up her spine. This wasn't just a coincidence. It was unsettling, a phantom limb of her own existence. She flipped through the pages, faster now, a growing dread tightening its grip. She skimmed over weeks, then months, then years. The entries became sparser, more concise, until she reached the very last page, almost at the end of the book. The date was starkly clear, June 19th, and beneath it a single, chilling sentence. Today, I disappear. Nina froze. Her gaze snapped to the small digital clock on her phone. June 18th. Tomorrow. The diary described her life, detailed her every mundane habit, and now it foretold her vanishing. She let out a short, incredulous laugh, the sound thin and reedy in the dusty attic. What a wild imagination, she murmured, half to herself, or a very elaborate prank. She closed the diary, setting it back carefully in the trunk, trying to convince herself it was merely a bizarre, albeit creative piece of fiction. The rest of that day, June 18th, felt subtly off-kilter. The world seemed to shimmer at the edges. Nina found herself glancing over her shoulder, checking her reflection in shop windows, a faint unease settling in her stomach like a cold stone. She went to pay for her groceries, and her fingers fumbled in her wallet. Her ID was gone. She distinctly remembered having it that morning, just a few hours ago. She searched her purse, her pockets, even the car. Nothing. A prickle of anxiety turned into a dull ache. She rationalized it as misplacement, a lapse in memory, but the small, nagging voice of the diary whispered in the back of her mind. The next morning, June 19th, dawned with an oppressive silence. Nina woke with a feeling of profound dread. She tried to shake it off, to convince herself it was just a silly story, a trick of the mind. She went to open her laptop for work. Her usual password didn't work. She tried again. Access denied. Then, user not found. A jolt of panic shot through her. She grabbed her phone, her fingers trembling, and tried to send an email to her colleague, Mark. The email bounced back instantly. Recipient address invalid. She called his direct line. It rang and rang, then went to a generic voicemail. She tried Sarah from HR. Hello? Sarah's voice was crisp but unfamiliar. Hi, it's Nina from the marketing team. A pause. I'm sorry, Sarah said. I don't have anyone by that name in marketing. Are you sure you have the right number? The line went dead. Her world, once so solid and predictable, began to unravel with terrifying speed. Sterling and Finch, her colleagues, her job, they were vanishing one by one like smoke. She ran to her bedroom window, desperate for a familiar sight. The coffee shop was still there, the old oak tree still stood, but the people on the street walked with a strange, dreamlike detachment, as if she wasn't truly there. She stumbled into the bathroom, her breath catching in her throat. She looked into the mirror, her eyes wide with terror. But the reflection wasn't hers. The mirror showed the empty bathroom, the white tiles, the porcelain sink, the frosted glass of the shower door. But there was no Nina. Her face, her body, her very being had simply ceased to be reflected. She reached out, her hand passing through the space where her image should have been, finding only the cold, unyielding surface of the glass. The world around her seemed to dim, the colors fading, sounds receding. A profound, unmaking emptiness enveloped her, a quiet dissolution into nothingness. And then, silence. Upstairs in the dusty attic, the sliver of sunlight still cut through the grimy window. A hand, strikingly familiar, picked up the old leather-bound diary from the trunk. The woman holding it looked exactly like Nina, yet something in her eyes was different, a calm, knowing glint. She opened the diary to the next blank page, her fingers graceful as she uncapped a pen. The date, June 20. And then she began to write. She's gone. I'm here now. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? This idea that perhaps our existence isn't as singular as we believe, that our lives might be echoing or even replacing those that came before. It makes you wonder about the subtle shifts in our daily lives, the moments when something feels just a little bit off. What if the echoes of others' lives are closer than we think? We hope this story sparked your imagination and perhaps a few goosebumps. What do you think happened to the first Nina? And who is the second? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the unexpected, please consider giving us a like and following for more stories that explore the quiet mysteries of life. Until next time, stay curious.